Because of that, and you work with young people, and you got this resume of never giving up. What's your message to the young people out there, who are trying to follow your path?
Listen, first of all, there's no path for you to follow when it comes to me. You know what I mean? And that's the first thing. You know what I mean? When a man tell you to follow what he do, he's already telling you the wrong thing, because your path and my path ain't the same.
Whatever you heard of me ain't worthy to me. I'm just too cutthroat, verbal surgery. How you claim to know that stuff when your shelf's too high? I keep mine's at eye level. What you trying to hide?
Peace, beautiful family. This is Dr. Walter Hidalgo, and this is the Know Thyself podcast, aka show. The Know Thyself podcast utilizes the metaphor of the shelf to extrapolate the self. And the way we do that is we invite guests to come in and share something about themselves.
Hey.
And before I introduce my guest, my brother, I just want to shout out a few sponsors. Shout out to shopvalero.com. I got their shades on right now. Definitely check their gear. Use the promo code SHELF25 to get your 25% discount. Shout out to my brother Steve with his 2020 collections. And if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for workshops with youth and young adults, holler at me. I do that. Just go to knowthyselftv@gmail.com. And if you're looking for some beautiful accessories, you can definitely holler at my brother right here. And we'll talk about that in a second. But before I do that, what we always do also is I like to give a big shout out to a group of individuals. And today I want to give a big shout out to all the entrepreneurs,
Right.
all the comedians,
The hustlers.
all the people who, again, we talk a lot about this deconstructing the 9 to 5, because this generation, my generation, and definitely the one after us, the way we look at work. You know, Loaded Lux was talking about this in Matt Hoffa's My Expert Opinion. Shout out to Matt Hoffa, the God. He says, you know, when I do my work, it's because it's my passion. It's what I do. So when I do my work, it's a reflection of who I am and what I show to reflect everyone that the G.O.D. is in the building.
Word.
So I want to introduce the guest I have today. I've known this brother for a very long time. He's my brother. He's an entrepreneur. He's a hustler. He's Brooklyn's own, Rhode Island's nephew. You know what I'm saying? Adopted you. This is my brother from another mother, June, aka Zenuj, if I could say that. And among everything else. What's good, family?
Peace, man. Good. Everything love. Happy holidays and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, and we'll be I think by the time this comes out, past the holidays, but nevertheless, we are still amidst some very interesting times.
Wow.
So there's a lot to discuss and unpackage that I want to hear from you, June. But as we always do, I like to start from the beginning and to contextualize this. So I want to bring it back. If we were to jump into Bill and Ted's time machine, go back in time to a young June.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm saying? What would we see? What would we hear? What would we walk into?
Young June. Oof. Young June feisty, man. He was I guess I come from a struggle. I come from a lot of trauma, so I didn't let that be the thing that raised me. You know what I mean? And coming up, you know, you kind of feed things differently, you know, and it took me a while. It took me a while to figure things out. You know what I mean? I went one way, I went another way, I went up, I went down. So You know, young June was a learner. Young June was young Indiana Jones. He was searching and hunting for the Temple of Doom.
Yo, that's one of my favorite movies. Yo, why on the low, I wanted to be an archaeologist.
I wanted to be anything that Indiana Jones was because he was so cool.
Yo, intelligent, brave, and all of that. Because June, I don't mean to cut you off because I want people to know, like, I've been interviewing family first.
Word.
I'm not really too concerned about the flashiness, so to speak, or higher end artists, whatever you categorize yourself as such. And I say that because I've known June since high school. We went to Mount Pleasant High School. Shout out
to MP.
You know what I mean? Right? Rhode Island, we're here, we're live back at home. And I'm saying this because we did the swap thing. I'm born and raised in Rhode Island. Well, you are. I was born in RI, but then I moved to New York where I still stay, shout out, right? Upstate right now. But you are from Brooklyn originally, and then you moved to Rhode Island.
Exactly.
Why? How did that happen? What was going on there?
There was more opportunity. Mom Duke said there was more opportunity here. Pops found a little opportunity here, so the transition came through family. People asking questions about what's going on over here. They didn't know about this place. And once they found some a little bit easier living, because New York was tough, man, especially in those times. I remember living in a garage at one point, you know what I mean? So we come from so much dirt, you know what I mean? It's like we had to find something else, and Pops was like, this was a good move. And then my grandma came, a couple aunts, and we kind of like, migrated a little bit.
You did internal migration, what we call, the switching.
We still all New York people, because I think everybody that came over here from my family from New York, we still go back, and they still crave like New York people. But I think they, after a while of living in New York, especially for them, they see something. They needed something a little better. You know what I mean? I think that Rhode Island's not so much better, but when it comes to living, it's easier.
Yeah, that's a fact. And that's why I always tell people, and I can only speak from Prop, but even the surrounding cities of Pawtucket, CF became like a hub for New Yorkers, Boston.
Exactly.
There was a lot of transactions. I always said I had a shout out to Professor Joseph of the Temple of Hip Hop in New York. We were talking about kind of like, 95, that artery, you know what I'm saying? A major artery that goes up the East Coast where people moved in and changed their lives. You know what I'm saying?
If you're a shaker, you're gonna dabble in Connecticut. You're gonna dabble in different parts of New York City. You're gonna go to White Plains. You're gonna see if you're a dabbler, if you're one of them hustler people, if you're just a person that's you don't get conform with life, you'll sit in Rhode Island all your life.
That's a fact, and I think that's why it really speaks to me when they say that it's hard to be a prophet in your own hood. Kind of biblically, if I can go there, and that stretches the term out of prophecy of what you want your own life to be, because it's so hard to make it out of your own hood sometimes.
I mean, a lot of that has to do with the people you were preaching to, because they say your hood is the biggest part of that, because when you're around someone that you love or that knows you, you have a certain, camaraderie, you have a certain relationship. But if I don't know you from nowhere and you touch me in a different way, or you feel like what you're saying is real, then I'm going to be attracted to you faster. You know what I mean? So I think the numbers when you're trying to deliver your message to a crowd of people who don't know you, it's going to grow faster. But the people from Rhode Island, they definitely believe in their people. They definitely, it's just not the same love as you would get in New York, because New York is a much bigger city.
Yeah, and I learned that, of course, doing it the opposite way, right? Coming from the smallest state in the country and moving to the biggest metropolitan city in the country.
It's crazy.
Which is only a couple hours apart. And I tell Rhode Islanders, like, for them, some of them is like, yo, let's travel into like China. I'm like, no, you gotta break that threshold and it'll expand your mind.
Once
and
you get used to New York, you can get used to China.
Speak on it. That's what we say, right?
New York, you hate New York City, but you want to go to China? You know what they do on the train in China?
Yo, that's all other comments. Exactly. And so, one thing that I know of a June, right, because this is what I love, especially when I know folk, right, but I only know what I see and what people tell me.
That's the only thing that's real.
Super facts, right? And I know a June that was humble. No, she was young. I'm speaking like going back in time, right? A younger June, right? Confident, humble, right? Super intelligent, like knows how to work the crowd, whether it's 1, 10, or 100. Is that a fair assessment, my brother?
Yeah. I think that my brother would be happy with that.
You know, and I say that because one major thing that I know about June, much like all of us that come from where we come from, is you gotta have a sense of hustle and entrepreneurship.
Always.
What's an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur is anybody who has an idea and makes it more than that. So if you take your idea out your head, then you're an entrepreneur. I don't care if you just put it on paper and just read it yourself. Because even that paper is physical now and it can conform. You could die, somebody could find that paper, and then that idea could turn into $1 million idea. So at the end of the day, when you take something that you think of and you make it for real, you're an entrepreneur, whether you make money or not. That's what you are, because everybody can't do that. Everybody can't take an idea, and it's not like they can't. They won't.
I really believe that's one strand of that God gene that we all have in us.
Yes, sir.
That's why they call it the entrepreneur spirit. I always say there's a spirituality in entrepreneurship. I think you already answered this question, because behind camera you really got deep into a lot of your upbringing.
Right.
You know, we all got stories to tell. You know, and only what you're willing to share. But you know, I know that you know, in another episode where I was talking with Monica, you know, I got kind of teary-eyed because she, you know, really said, you know, every day we're walking on water as entrepreneurs, meaning it's miracles.
True.
You know, because when you've been pushed in the corner and you don't have an option. You know what I'm saying? When you don't got an option, it does something to your brain's psychology. And they call that either you fight or you flight.
Yeah.
But you chose to fight, my dude. And it manifested in different ways. And one of those ways is Zenuj.
The new life.
Talk to us about that. What does that mean? Where to get started, etc.
Oof, that's a long time. So the new life is a lot of people say Zenuj or Zenuj, which is cool because it all sounds African, and I love African. So I don't really get upset when people mess up the name at all, because it's their interpretation of what I do. And the first thing that Zenuj is art. Alright, it's an art form. You know what I mean? It's just a different way of looking at things. Now, when I first had started Zenuj, I'll tell you this story and try to make it as short as possible. I was working in like a jail for kids. And this jail for kids, they had all these ideas, and they was like, you know, doing stuff, basically jail stuff for kids. The stuff that you would do in jail to rehabilitate a child, which it wasn't good. It was very jail-esque, you know, like 10 push-ups and then read this book, like, you know, like it was just terrible. So at that time I was around 225 pounds, you know, I was a big guy, and I was trying to, you know, get the kids to do something different. That wasn't physical, that wasn't masculine, you know, something that would mess with their brain in a different way. And I never did any jewelry before. I always loved it. My mother worked in the jewelry plant, and I always took their stuff and tried to make things, and I never did anything with it. It was just something I loved to do with my mom's mess. But I had bought this stuff because I knew what it was. I brought it to the job, and I said, hey, you guys want to try this? You know, it's real therapeutic. It's cool, and beading is amazingly therapeutic for y'all people listening. Please, if you need something to ease your mind or something, relax, go get you a whole bunch of beads, some string, and some jazz music, and put them string and them beads together. Break it and put it back together again. Keep doing that. Guarantee you'll be cool. But anyway, so I tell the kids about this. They hate it. Now I'm teaching a class called Art Fits. Basically, it's art and outfits. They take their clothes, and rip them up, and they do whatever they want with them. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get my Art Fits kids to do it. I'm trying to get other people to get involved with it. Nobody's doing nothing. They all hate these beads. So I'm like, all right, whatever. The beads sit in the storage room for a while. Get back to jail life, you know, the locked up life, because they didn't want to do nothing fun. I sat in the middle of that hallway with that set and started to make different things. And I would put it on their doorknobs and put it under their doors, and you know, I got a few customers. They liked it. The kids wear them. They were like, "This was nice, Mr. Make room for my girl when I go on visit." Right.
Right.
So you know, it started to do that. one of the teachers, it was her birthday, I made her a chain. It was the first time I was making a rosary, and I made her a chain. And it was just a gift, just something I was doing in the hallway working anyways, nothing crazy, just doing what I love. And she posted it on social media, and at that time I think it was MySpace. And I'm talking like I had literally 200 inboxes, and I had a MySpace and a Facebook account at the time, so both of them was losing their mind, and I was just going through back and forth. I remember it was like 6 months in, and I was first I went from like making 100 a week, just making different roses for people. Then I went from like 200, then 500, then it was like 1,000. Then I said, I told my boss, I'm like, yo, I make more money than I do. I'm not coming here no more. He was like, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And he gave me my last check, gave me a hug, he wished me the best, and I took all of this juice and all this information prematurely and immaturely and bounced to Florida. So that's what I did. I went to Miami, and I still was killing them in Rhode Island. I still was doing my numbers in New York. I had celebrities calling me. I was hanging with all type of cats. I was trying some stuff with Noriega, some green emerald diamond.
Shout out to Nori and the Drink Champs.
Man. I was trying to do some green diamond emerald sneakers for him in Miami. I had a lot going on. Mm-hmm. So Zenuj itself just was like an idea that I kind of had, and like I said, I took it out of my head. And I gave it to somebody else to kind of like, help them, but it helped me. Cause it was all premeditated, unselfish. Just, you kids use this for therapy. And it took me all the way to Miami, sitting across the table from millionaires offering me big money to help them out do things. It got my designer skills, highlighted heavily, because now I can really show who I am. I always been a designer, I always made clothes, I always drew and designed things, but this was different. This was like, this dude's on another level now. I done painted sneakers and Timberlands when I was 13, 14 years old. So now they know me for that. Imagine being 30-some years old. Actually, I was like 22 at the time, 23. Mm-hmm. And they were like, damn, now he's doing something different. And so from there, I learned about reinventing yourself and how to continuously grow with being older. A lot of people, they can't get older because they don't want to grow from the person they was before. That person was hot in the 90s, and if you can't evolve from them, then you're just a Flavor Flav. You can't don't disrespect the Flav. I love Flav, but at the end of the day, what I mean? That's an older generation. He didn't evolve. You know what I'm saying? Certain things. Jay-Z's of that generation. He evolved all the way to now. Jay will kill whoever. And I love KRS-One. I love Flavor Flav movement. I just heard a song from them recently. You know what I'm saying? So I think they get now. They're starting to evolve. If you listen to that new song he got, KRS-One's joint, you'll be like, you're like, that joint sound like, he's that. You know what I'm saying? That's the evolve I'm talking about. Everybody can't do that. If you weren't, timeless like KRS-One or somebody like that, you can't do that. And I felt like that was one of the lessons Zenuj taught me. You have to reinvent yourself, and you have to stay with the times.
Because of that, and you work with young people, and you got this resume of never giving up. What's your message to the young people out there, who are trying to follow your path?
Listen, first of all, there's no path for you to follow when it comes to me. You know what I mean? And that's the first thing. You know what I mean? When a man tell you to follow what he do, he's already telling you the wrong thing, because your path and my path ain't the same.
I think, yes. And even this right here.
That was a show version.
Exactly.
But the long version. When we talk about Vegas, y'all be like, what? Oh yeah, it happened.
Of course.
No, I get show. I'm telling you.
I already know. We don't even,
Bro,
because
this
is what I'm talking about, family.
Eesh.
Because I really appreciate June talking about the evolution and just taking a chance,
That's it. Man.
Because I was interviewing someone else, and and he said, we just got to give people something to believe, people like, I really, shout out to Gary V. He always, I'm gonna interview you, King, Gary V. You're next, right? Yeah. And he talks a lot about reinventing yourself, but like this idea that the only way you'll know who you really are is going down this path of entrepreneurship. and I can tell you so many stories of my highs and lows, my brother.
I believe you.
You know what I mean? Highs and lows. I've had checks where I was like, whoa, I got this for just doing this, to wow, only one person showed up, or I took a L, you know what I mean? And then the question that you keep asking yourself, as your brother's wife said, that why question. Why am I doing this? You know what I'm saying? And you kept reinventing yourself, because the other side of this dude that we know is one of a comedian. Where did this? What happened with this? Like, is this something you stumbled on, or just somebody was like?
I think we have to always. Anybody always talk about what I do. They always like, you gotta do this, you do that. I don't need a list of things to do. I don't think a person should have a list of things to do. I think you should be a thing and then just do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an artist, bro. Yes. So when it comes to art, it don't matter what art. Maybe it's different forms. Maybe I am a digital artist. Maybe I am a freestyle artist. Maybe I do make beats too, and maybe I can rap a little bit. But why can't I do all these other things? It's still art. You know what I'm saying? So when it always asks what I do, it's just still art. The comedian thing to me is just another art form. What is a comedian? A comedian is a guy or a girl standing on stage telling you a story. That's a storyteller. A storyteller has to be a creative person to create a story. I can't just come up on stage and be like, my kids are so crazy, this, that, and then I've seen terrible comedians. I've seen them go on stage and try to tell me what happened in their life, and it's not funny. You need to add things to things in order for them to be sellable. And that's how things work. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get free, but you can't get a good joke from with my style about my life from anywhere. Especially if you're a white guy or a Spanish guy or any, because you're not black. So just imagine me telling you about being black and driving and how dangerous this shit is. Like, you have to laugh. Yeah. You have to be like, I don't even have that problem.
And now it's interesting, because a lot of the conversations around comedians is, you know, what's the limit of a joke? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's real sensitive now with social media, right? I know you've had conversations about this.
Anybody know me? They call me limitless. You know what I'm saying? I'm limitless. You know what I'm saying? Loveless. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't really go too far into doing things. I feel like a lot of the Caucasian comedians talk about their private and all the time. They always talk about how little their thing is or whatever. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk about. I've never made a joke about my private area. Like, I don't know if that's a respecting for myself or what it is. I just don't dabble in that area. I don't think that I need to do that. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things that I don't say it's off limits, but I just don't deal with it. I don't feel like it's something that is politics. Like, I'll crack on the president for like a second in my joke. I'll throw a pun, but I'm not giving him no 5 minutes.
Word.
Because he's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's me disrespecting this dude who's disrespecting the whole world. We already know it. It's just me reiterating what we already know. I'd rather tell you something you don't know, like, you know, my son farting on my lap and you know, not answering me ever. But when he farts on my lap, I guess those are the answers, you know. So I think there's certain things that I can spin them around and still talk about these political issues and make you think about things, because as a comedian, I have no other purpose but to give you my story and to explain how I see things, to educate you, and not necessarily almost all the time entertain you, because sometimes I'm not entertaining. Sometimes I'm just giving you the fucking truth, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always a joke. It's sometimes just something that's so damn true it's funny. That's it.
Exactly, right? Nothing can be more lightly the truth than adding a little comment.
I mean, like, you know what I'm saying?
It takes away that sort of like gray area, that silence of the room. Just throw that little comedy in there and you'll be alright.
Comedy's inside of you. Like, when I ask, I go to, there's a set, I usually set it up, and I ask, I'm like, it's hard being black. Y'all don't understand how hard it is being black. And I asked somebody who's not black right in the front, have you ever been the only black person in the room before? And they look around. Everybody starts laughing. They're like, obviously you can't be because you're not black. They're like, no. I'm like, this motherfucker said no. Like, you got option or some shit. You don't understand what that is. You ain't got no real fucking problems if you ain't never been the only black person in the room before. And then I start giving them about, I asked them, I say, how many black friends you got? and they say, 2, 3.
Oh, they really give you a number?
Sometimes they tell me. So then I'm like, yo, how many white friends you got? Oh, I don't know. So now I just made you sit down and evaluate your own self. Because if you count your black friends, you'll serve black faces. You understand me? Okay, you don't even know how much food you got in the refrigerator. You know how many black people in your house? Exactly. That's crazy. You keep looking in the refrigerator every 5 minutes, but you know how many niggas is in there. Nah. Come on, man.
Dude, I wanna, see, I love it. And, I wanna say that, the other piece of you too is that you're a teacher, like the guy.
Oh, God. I'm imagine this crazy guy is teaching.
Imagine me too. People look at me and they're like, oh, you're a doctor. I'm like,
I think all teachers should be like us though. They should be who relate to people.
Exactly.
So that's a fool off rip. That's how, let's say for people off rip. Any old person tell you do this, do that, do this, do that, do that, he's a fool. Because then your brain ain't the same, your legs ain't the same. He don't even know where you're gonna end up in 6 months. So why would you listen to that man? What you have to do is you have to self-evaluate. You have to say, are the people around me, and am I worth it? Are the people around me worth it? Is my environment worth it? And if it is, still have fun and live your life. Stay there. If it's not worth it, if it's saying, these people are not supporting me, I'm not doing supportive things for myself, my environment isn't helping, then you gotta make decisions to figure out how not to be in that situation anymore. And personally, coming from Bushwick Avenue and in Brooklyn, okay, Saratoga Avenue, Atlantic Ave, Manhattan Avenue, you know what I'm saying? Chalkstone Avenue, Washington Park. What? You're not, I don't know who that's desirable for. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, use your environment, use who you are to motivate you to find what you love and get out of your situation. The key parts of that conversation right there was motivate yourself, find what you love. Those two things together, fuel and gas. Right. You can get anywhere you want.
Amen/woman.
Sample.
I love it.
Sample.
Speaking of this amazing journey, as we always do in the Know Thyself podcast, we invite guests to bring something out of from themselves. What you got for us, June, today?
I mean, I brought some jewelry for you guys, cause for family, you guys can take that home. I got some jewelry on, but this is not really what I brought. I'm gonna show you some more jewelry or whatever, but I'm actually I got something that I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna actually put some more jewelry pieces on the table so y'all can check those out as well.
I want to also shout out Amelia with the Highly Living gear. Also, shout out to the guy. And shout out to Candy Girl with her cake poetry.
Put some pieces up and y'all can check those out. But this here, right? This is my bag I keep on my back at all times. And I got my iPad in here. Now, I want to definitely give a shout out to anybody that is on their iPad right now that's an artist, because at the end of the day, this is the future. You understand? For us as artists, as people who draw on paper, if you don't have an iPad, if you don't have an iPencil, if you don't understand this technology, you are 15 years behind right now, and you need to get busy. You need to start understanding this. I'm gonna open this up real quick so my man Walker check this out. Now I'm using an app called Procreate, which is the best in the game. And I'll just open up maybe one of these portraits or something I did. This is my homeboy's dad. RIP. Some homeboy.
Wow, what?
And I'll show you how to, different things. So what I'm doing right now is, my new reinventing myself is basically, I'm becoming a digital artist. So I'm taking the art and everything that I know, and I'm doing different things with it. And what am I saying by that is basically, I was an artist of different medias for a long time. And now, it's time for me to be of a different media that makes the money for the future. I'm rebuilding again. I'm still doing comedy. I'm still making music. And I'm still doing all the other things I was doing. I'm still chopping jeans up. I got chopped up jeans up right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but this right here now, is a new version of me that has nothing to do with comedy. I got nothing to do with none of that stuff. This is taking what I've learned as an artist and putting it all into fruition, because it's a journey. It's a journey. You know what I mean? This digital art for me, watching YouTubes, talking to people, and it's so hard to find another artist that draws on an iPad, which is crazy to me because, like I said, you're 15 years behind if you're not doing this. Imagine you come to me, tell me you want a clothing line, and I'm just drawing on paper. That's all I do is draw on paper. So you say, I want you to draw me a logo. I give you the logo on paper. You know what has to happen?
Facts.
So now, if I never cut that paper, if I never did that thing, and I did it on there, and I made it a vector, it's just one bang bang. That price point of you creating and you vectorizing and sending somebody is a whole different thing. And as an artist, this is where we have to be. This is where you have to understand the technology. You have to understand where you're going with it, or you're gonna get left behind. You know what I'm saying?
And it shows, like I always say, you know, life is like looking into a kaleidoscope, man. Multi-dimensional, multi-angles, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I tell the kids don't follow my path, because look at this path you're following and there's 1,500 of them rolling up that way. Why follow one? Go find your own, and then now you can tell somebody about yours and mine's, and then they can find another one. Then they can tell somebody about yours, mine's, theirs, and you see how that goes? There's nobody telling you to follow one path, but we're telling you about the paths that you could take so you can merge and do different things and get to where you gotta go. People don't understand there's a destination in all of this.
That's right.
The destination in all of this for most people that I know who do what they love is to do what you love and that pay for your life. Not going to work and struggling and all this other stuff. Nah, just waking up, playing with your kids, doing what you love, but maybe do some business, blah blah blah, go back, but you're getting paid for it. This jewelry, some people look at it, they say, it may think it take 2 hours, 15 hours. I made this holding my son. I made this holding my son 2 days ago. Okay? And he was screaming in my ear at the top of his lungs because he wants to eat too much. And I tell him he can't. He's a baby. He wants to eat everything, and he wants to eat my face, my neck, milk. No. So I held him and I made this. And he sat on my lap and watched me and calmed down. That's why this is special to me. You know what I mean?
My brother.
You don't take too much.
It's facts. It doesn't. And and the beauty of that is now the next generation is looking at that, just creating art and showing them also, like, amidst struggle and evolution, you're still here. Yeah. I'm still here. And
well, you remember high school, they told us artists think to die out. You can't be an artist. That's not a good job. They said go to college, go to URI, etymology. Everything they told us was a path that they wanted us to follow. So where were the teachers that said, yo, let me tell you about a couple of different other paths. You ever heard of Basquiat? You ever heard of you ever heard of Jackson Pollock? Let me tell you about this guy. Let me tell you what happened to him because he did what he loved. You tell kids that, and you tell kids about URI at the same time, and you see what happened. URI numbers gonna go down real fast.
Super fast. And again, we're living in a different time. This is a new generation, and considering all that has happened and continues to happen due to this worldwide phenomenon that we're still undergoing, what the 9 to 5 looks like, how the workplace looks like is being redefined. And if that wasn't a slap in the face for everybody, at once, like, okay, I look at it for myself, like, I can't come out of this doing the same way I was doing it. Not that I was doing anything wrong, so to speak, but it was more of like, hey, half of the things I was doing, my hustles went down the drain, right? Not down the drain, they're coming back, but had to be put on hold. But how do I continue to sustain myself, my family, and my well-being? Hear me again. We didn't even talk about that piece, the connection between your psychology, your emotions to your journey and your path.
Well, that financial chasing, you forgot you got a brain, right? Or what about that thing that you used to get all this money? It's broken because you didn't even care about it.
Or even just the fact that, like, someone like me, I've told folks, like, I get down, I get depressed. Those very same things that are the biggest battle we do face every day is ourselves. Like the God Busta Rhymes said, every choice has an invoice, yo.
Every choice.
You know what I'm saying? June, where can people find you if they want to get in contact with you to get any of your amazing work?
Listen, I'm on the social platforms everywhere, man. Black Savage, Black Sav. You can find me Zenuj Life. Zenuj is June's backwards, so it's Zenuj. June's Jewelry, June's Zenuj Life. Remember that. So ZenujLife on Instagram. That's what I'm at the point where I'm not in the sales mode. I'm not in the market mode. I don't feel like that's where my energy should go. You know what I mean? I do market myself. I do it, but I do it at my leisure, and I do it to the point where it's there if you want to see it. If you're looking for that, you know what I mean? But there's nowhere. You know, I don't have a website. I don't have anything that's going on right now that's too crazy because, like I said, I'm in a growing stage. I'm learning new things. I'm taking this digital stuff to animation now. So now I'm going to animation. Now I'm animating the character juice. These characters and making them move. Like redeveloping, because I can see that Procreate isn't enough. I can see that one program isn't enough. So I would urge you to go out there and tune in with me. I'm gonna start a YouTube real soon. It's gonna be called Savage Sessions, where I'm just gonna be doing different things, maybe making some jewelry, making some beats, maybe making some artwork and telling some jokes in the background. So please, again, my name is Junebrone, Black Savage. Look me up. You'll find me for sure. I'm the only one.
Yo, my brother. Yo, I love you, Ken.
I love you, Black.
I'm so proud of you, yo.
Thank you, man.
No worries.
We're not done
yo.
yet. We're far from done yet, man. We didn't even make it there yet.
Yo, just the beginning.
This is just us hanging on a cliff having a conversation.
Yo,
you know what I mean? Because it's real high. We gotta go, man.
Yeah. And this is only the beginning. And I'm grateful to God that I'm able to connect with the gods. Because when the gods come together, God is in the building. As we always do in the Know Thyself, we like to end with a quote. And I think this speaks to you, Ken, and so many others. This is from James Cameron, and it reads as such. If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will fail above everyone else's success.
The coolest failure ever.
Peace, family.
Word.
I'm the cake. Yeah. The mic so I can we can do this here, watch me rock the flow. Killing it a must, never optional. Never see me in the spot where the ops go. We came to clean up like it's mop and glow. So I'ma break you when the party goes. Give you nothing less than remarkable. Spitting whack shit, we ain't fond of you. I'ma show you with this mic that I'm bonded to. Flows fluent, it's a festival, bondable. Bomb with you with these flows, harming you. Show you see the future, but karma do. You just the MC, home with mama do. Your friend should have been want the alarm in you. I state my claim, I'm armed with truth. Take it back like I'm plug one pasta noose. You can say that this mic's in my palms to prove.